Good morning, folks. My name is Ken Carroll with Alliance Coach. This morning we're going to go through some of the options and some of the standard features on this Monaco 44 Signature. We're going to start with the front up here. First thing, the mirrors. You notice on these mirrors, they from the top down. They're top mounted mirrors. You don't have a big pedestal coming out to interrupt your vision. They're bigger mirrors. You also have heat. These are heated, and they have the camera mounted in the mirror itself, so you can see down the side of the coach. Right up front here is the 10 kW generator. This generator will operate everything in the coach. It'll run your 3 air conditionings, it'll run your microwave convection oven, it'll run everything that you need to run. That'll run it, so it's totally self-contained. This is electrically operated. It slides in and out by itself. If you notice, a couple things with the windshield. We have a little box looking thing right in the center of the windshield. That is collision avoidance. This will, when you turn on your cruise control, it'll follow the coach or car in front of you. It will automatically brake. If that car brakes, it'll automatically accelerate back to the speed that you set it at. The windshield is just like a car windshield. This is not mounted in a fiberglass cap. This is mounted in steel. This whole windshield is mounted in steel. It's not going to leak. It's not going to have any wind noise. It's solid. Again, you have your mirror, which is mounted from the top down, a little bit bigger. You have your cameras in it. The entrance door, if you notice the entrance door and the steps, the entrance door is a bigger entrance door. There's a lot of room. It's a huge entrance door with a real step. This is not just this step actually folds up, and you have 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps to get in. This is on a Freightliner chassis, and it's on, the chassis is a Freightliner Liberty chassis. This chassis is built by Freightliner. It's one of their best chassis. The Freightliner has a 1-year unlimited warranty on the chassis, and then 5-year 100,000 mile on the engine and 200,000 mile on the Allison transmission. We'll get into that a little bit later. If you look up here, we have our Dometic. Over our entrance, it's an awning that comes out. If you want to leave that out, if it's raining, you can put it out. While we're on the awnings, if you look over top here, this is a Girard 2-stage awning. This awning comes out, total electric, and comes down. This is not wind sense. It doesn't have a wind sensor. This has a shaker. If it starts to shake, a motion sense, it'll come in by itself. So if you're away from the coach and you get a big wind or it starts to blow, it'll shake the awning and it'll automatically retract. We also have our outside entertainment. We have a big screen TV right here. This plays with the clickers. What do you call them? The remotes. Yeah, you get remotes on everything. Everything is remote. Sorry, I just couldn't remember what that was. Anyway, going on, if we look underneath, a lot of storage underneath this coach. We have our bays with the slide out. This is an automatic slide. This thing just it hooks and slides out, so you don't have to worry about climbing underneath. It can go from either side, either this side or the other side. Your batteries, your coach batteries are up front. Makes it easy. They're very, very accessible. When you have to service them, it's real easy. Plate glass windows. These give you better insulation. They're more, they're insulated better, and there's no noise. You don't get any wind noise or any weeping. The paint, well, we're looking at the paint. This paint is full body paint. It has clear coat, but this paint will never crack or craze because it's it's almost like a Michelin tire. It's like live all the time. This will never 100% cure. So you'll never have to worry about it cracking. And the reason they do that is that these are coaches running down the road, and if they twist and if they make any kind of movement, the paint won't crack, and it stays this way for the lifetime of the paint. Mercedes-Benz uses the same process. As we go back further, this is a tag axle. Also, it has steering. This is if your back tag is steerable, so that when you're turning a corner, it helps so that you can make a tighter turn. This has V-Ride. V-Ride is what they do is they stabilize your rear axles with bracing. It looks like a V, it looks like a triangle. And it's mounted to the back of your axle, then mounted to the frame so that you don't get any shifting of your axle. It stays perfectly straight once it's set up. We'll come around to the back. We have here, this is access to our engine. This is a Cummins 450 horsepower. The exhaust is over here. This burns DEF. You have to run DEF, which is your clean burn diesel. This one has a 15,000 pound towing capacity. The reason for that is these diesel pushers can pull a lot more weight, but a lot of them are restricted to the size of the trailer hitch. This has a 15,000 pound hitch because there's no radiator. It has a side radiator. There's no radiator in the back. If you look in here, you can see the engine. Everything's easy to get to. Your belts are easy to get to. Very easy to service because there's no radiator there. So because there's no radiator, they put on a 15,000 pound hitch. This other exhaust is for your AquaHot. This has AquaHot, instant water, baseboard heat constantly. If you're any place where it's real cold, you have heat all the time. We'll get into a lot of that later on, but that's the exhaust for it. They put it in the back now, so if you pull into a campsite or a campground and you have somebody next to you, you're not going to smoke them out with the diesel fumes. We'll take a walk around to the side. You notice I told you this was a side-mounted radiator. This is your radiator here. We look at that little box up there. That's the vent for your dryer, your washer and dryer. That's the vent dryer. If you take a look all the way up on top, it looks like, you can see it looks like a box or a rail, like there's another awning. That's just a dummy to keep the symmetry of the coach. So it looks the same on this side as it does on the other side. Again, your tag axle. These come standard or with your slide toppers. All of them have slide toppers. The only reason for the slide topper is to make sure that you don't get any debris if you're under a tree or if there's a lot of sticks or leaves, and it'll keep everything out. This is your area where you discharge. These have filtering system. It has an outside shower. Everything is on reels. Your water is on a reel, and it's electric. It goes in by itself. Sandy flush. There's your discharge. This is your gray and black. That's your gray water and black water discharge. It comes out the bottom. If you notice the blue pipe, that's your low water drain. If you're going to winterize the coach, you can actually turn that on, go inside, turn all the faucets on, and turn that on, and it'll drain all your water. And that's your discharge area. They also have holders for paper towel, and this has your Dirt Devil, which is your vacuum system. This has onboard vacuum, and you would empty it from here. Again, this is the other side of your slide. A lot of storage, a lot of underneath storage. If you're traveling a lot and you or for your full timer, there's plenty of storage underneath. This also has window awnings. You can pull that window awning down and it'll keep the sun out, so it keeps it cooler in the summertime, and it'll keep some of the glaring sun out. This is all the operation. This is your generator, all your fuses in here for the generator when it's operating. That's your washer wiper fluid. This also has, if you look at this right here, there's a little air hookup. This has its own onboard compressor. This will give you 125 psi's of air pressure. You can hook up, if you want to use air tools, you can hook them up. If you want to inflate rafts or things at the beach, you can use that. You can hook up to it, so you always have air. If the engine's running, you've got air, and you can use that to inflate everything. That's pretty much it for a quick walk around on the side. This also has, a fiberglass roof. The construction on this is a little different than your Tiffin or your Integra. When they put these walls together, these are walls that are mounted to the floor, and the roof is mounted to the walls. They are put with a locking system, which when they build the walls out of aluminum and fiberglass. The aluminum will along the bottom, they put a rail on it, and that rail will hook to the floor. It'll actually snap in. Unlike Integra or Tiffin, Integra takes bolts every 3 feet and puts bolts down through wood. Monaco doesn't use any wood. Everything's aluminum and steel in these coaches. Your Tiffin is built the same way. Tiffin mounts to the floor. They mount a wall just like they're building a house. They drill down through the studs, and they drill down through your base, and that holds it on. The only bad thing about that is if you get any kind of water, if water gets in there, or if you get condensation and it starts to rot, wood will rot, and you won't have the integrity that this coach will have 10 years from now. All right, that'll kind of wrap up the outside real quick, and then we'll go on to the inside. Okay, here we are again. Now we're in the Monaco. We're in the driver's seat. Tilt wheel. This is also a smart wheel. This has our lights. It has our speed control, which is hooked up to our collision avoidance, and windshield wipers and everything are on this. If you look over here to my left, right here is the pad. This has 2 leveling systems. It levels from the ground, which has pads, hydraulic pads, and it also has air leveling, which levels off the chassis, it levels off the frame. So this is a lot of the old technology that's been all updated so that you have both. This has the Allison 6-speed transmission. This is the keypad for your transmission. It has a Jake brake, which is an engine and exhaust brake. It uses air, number one, if you're starting down a grade and you want to hold your coach back, you put it in number 1, stage 1, and it turns the air off so that the coach will start to hold back. If you need more, you go to part 2, stage 2, and it uses the compression of the engine to hold it back. So it is a 2-stage Jake brake, and they call it a Jake brake because they were originally designed by Jacobus. So anyway, we have that. Then we go along here, a lot of our lights, our headlights, a lot of the stuff that are on the coach. We can go through here, our washer wiper, a lot of that. And then all our gauges. We have our RPMs, which is the engine revolution. This also has an automatic idle system. When you park your coach, you never want to let a diesel idle or lope along. You put it into cruise mode, hit set, and it'll automatically bring you up to about 11 or 1200 RPMs, which if you're going to leave your coach running, you want to make sure you got it running at that RPMs. This is your speedometer, and then your engine gauges, your oil, your water temperature, air. Also, it'll tell you what your air pressure is. It has two systems, air systems. If for any reason you lose your air, it has an automatic emergency button, which is right down here. This button will automatically pop out and it'll engage your brakes. It's what they call an emergency brake. It is also your park brake. Once that's out, once they pull that all the way out, the coach is locked into position. You won't be able to move it until you get air to your system to move it. And we go along. This has navigation system on it. This has Rand McNally navigation. What that means is it'll never take you any place that you are too heavy or you're too high. So once you set that in there, you can actually go any place, just program it in. If it tells you you can go down a road, you're not going to be overweight or over height. And that's all built in. Your generator start and everything is along the bottom here. This has door locks, which is activated here. We come to this screen. This is part of, this has your right and left hand camera, and your backup camera is on that screen. This is you can actually have all four views. You can have backup, you can have side, you can have everything all at once. You can also use that as a security. You can leave that on to monitor the outside of the coach. You can also take that and put it on your televisions. You can actually put it up on your TVs so that you can monitor everything outside the coach while you're at rest. So it is a safety factor. It's something that you can use while you're being parked, and you can also monitor everything that's going on outside the coach. This one has a TV up front. If we pan around to the right side, it has a TV there with your sound bar. Underneath the TV is a heater. It's an electric heater fireplace. This also will give you 3,000 BTUs of heat on a day where it's 50 degrees or 45 degrees. This will heat the coach nice and cozy. We'll go along down here. We have our windows all along the side. A freestanding dinette area. This also pulls out, so you can put 2 extra chairs, which the chairs come with it. And then when you're traveling down the road, you can push it in. This has a residential refrigerator with a freezer on the bottom. This operates on 2 designated batteries. It'll run 72 hours without charging. This will charge 3 ways. It charges when you're driving the coach, charges when you're running the generator, and it charges when you're plugged into shore power. So usually within 72 hours, if you were to just turn off this coach, turn everything off and just leave it, this would run for 72 hours. Usually within 72 hours, if you're using the coach, one of those 3 events will occur. You'll either drive it, you'll plug in, or you'll run the generator. If you notice up here in the ceiling, this has what they call quiet air. These are air induction for your air conditioners. It has 3 AC units on it. You can run all 3 at the same time. Whether you're plugged into shore power, even if it's 50 amp service, it'll still run everything. But they're nice and quiet. You don't hear a lot of noise, and it's all done automatically. As we go into the back, we get into the bedroom. You see a nice big TV. This is an area here where you can put some of your electronics. You can put in there. An escape hatch. This is an exit, emergency exit. If you have to get out, you can always leave a ladder outside the door, and you can get out through there. Bath and a half. We're back in the bath area. Big sink. A lot of space so that people can put all their stuff here. And we come into the back. There's a big storage area in the back. We have area for shoes. We have hanging. We also have our big And then a safe. They come standard with a safe, so if you have valuables, you can put them in there. A lot of drawers. And then if we slip over here, we have our washer and dryer, which is standard. And if you remember when we did the outside, I showed you the vent for the dryer. Well, right outside here is a vent. An electric toilet. And then our shower. This is a real big shower. If you look, it has a seat in it so you can sit down. Yep. Nice and big skylight, so you always have light. And we come back into the bedroom, and this has the king size bed, standard. Full king. On alongside the bed, you have a USB port hookup. You can also start and turn your generator off right here. So if you're running it and you want to shut it off at night, you can shut it off, or you want to turn it on, you can. Sliding door to close off the area. And then your half bath is here. So if you have company with you and they're staying out in this area, you can close off your bedroom and they still have a bathroom that they can use. We get into the kitchen area. This has real big sinks, real deep. It's got double sink. This is the small one, but it's very deep. And then on this side, it's for pans, which is a lot bigger, so you can clean all the pans. You have your sprayer, which comes out. This is an electric coach. Everything is electric. It has your induction cooktop. Two induction cooktops. Micro convection oven, standard. You can do all your baking and cooking in there. And dishwasher. So now your husband doesn't have to wash dishes anymore. He can put them in the dishwasher. Little storage underneath. This is a pull out. This pulls out. It's out right now, but it pulls out to give you more counter space. You have drawers in it, which are full-size drawers. You notice, look at the depth of those drawers. This pulls out, gives you more area to work with. You have your couch. This couch is also a hide-a-bed. It is a queen-size hide-a-bed. That might even be a king. I think it's a king. It's a king-size hide-a-bed. And then it gets us back up to the front. And that should pretty much do it. If you have any questions on the Monaco product, you can call Alliance Coach, or you can call me, Ken Carroll. My cell phone is 904-654-5923. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed everything.